Welcome back. It's part 2 of our series of prospects we think the Lions will take a look at and have met with at the Combine. It's me, your boy Day, and I'm going to let the guys introduce themselves, and then we're going to get to it.
Yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Leo. You can find me on Leo Barwella on X, and so we're over here looking at draft prospects, and we've got a couple today. Really good show today. But I'll let Mike introduce himself. Mike.
What's up, y'all? It's me, Mike. Y'all can find me on Twitter at onepride_JR, and let's get to it.
All right, let's get to it. First prospect we're going to look at today is a guy that the Lions met with at the Combine. He played at Wake Forest, and Malik Mustafa. Leo?
Yes.
Tape on him?
Yeah, we do have some tape on Malik Mustafa, safety out of Wake Forest. Excuse me there. So what we like to do is we always like to start you guys with some highlights. And so we'll definitely do that today. And Malik Mustafa. Oh, he can play center field.
Yeah, he can. He's quick too. Is that sped up? Is that tape sped up?
I don't think so. Hinder throw. Still got to make the play, right?
Yeah. Better than Tracy Walker right there. Tracy don't catch that. Tracy don't catch that. CJ don't catch that either. CJ don't catch that either.
So I guess that was the only thing on that. So just a little quick background. So Malik Mustafa was interviewed by Brad Holmes at the Combine and the staff. And so I don't know how intense it was or what they really went over, but they did sit there and interview Malik Mustafa, which I thought was very interesting, kind of raised an eyebrow of the safety position. Lions last year went into they had 4 solid safeties, all could be starters in this league. And that was to me a position of strength. And so, but I think that with Malik Mustafa, what the eyebrows that I raise is, okay, I know that we're losing Tracy Walker, right? And who else are we losing? And so when they interviewed him, it was just really eye-opening. Mike, what do you think?
He looks like a good prospect. Like what I see from looking him up is he's basically they project him to be like a box around the box, like a guy like Tracy was good at. But not only that, he can catch the ball and he can make some plays in the passing game as well, which we all know that was not a thing that Tracy did on a consistent basis at all. And the opportunities he did have, he wouldn't come down with the football. It looks like this kid can still make plays on the football when he's put in that position. So that's a plus for me.
Yeah, we'll show some more highlights that I just found, but I like this highlight right here. He literally comes from that free safety position and fills that hole. If I could sit there and rewind this again.
That was nice. That was nice right there.
Yeah, that's what I keep seeing from him, like reading different profiles on him. They keep saying this aggressiveness and tackling. He's definitely physical.
Yeah, I mean, if we just run it back one more time, and here he is. I mean, look how he just
look at that, dude. Boom. Yeah, I like that.
So I love the way that this kid feels. Like he can fill the hole. Pause. 80 tackles, 5 tackles for losses, and an interception.
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't familiar with the kid, but just from what I'm seeing here, yeah, he makes kind of an interesting prospect. The way he can fill the hole in the run game right there, that's nice.
And fast too, like 4.33.
Is that what he ran, Mike?
Yep, that's what I'm looking at. It says 4.33, and I mean, it shows up in some of them plays you guys have shown with how explosive he's getting there.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
How big is he? What is he?
He's 5'10".
5'10".
Okay, 5'10".
Doesn't he kind of remind you a little bit about of Quandre Diggs with his size?
Yeah.
Like a little bit, right?
Yep, it's saying 5'10", 209, and yeah, I mean, I could see some of that too, because I mean, he looks like he's coming down and he'll lay the wood, man.
So let me ask you guys, why do you think that they're looking at safety though?
Well, I think they're going to look at safety because if they still plan on doing the rotation thing, like I don't know how you guys feel, but I think we all feel the same about CJ's probably not going to come back. Like I think they got to allocate their money responsibly, and I think they should do it in different areas. Like you could find another safety. You could find another safety in the draft, such as this kid, and he'll be more so a rotational guy from a standpoint. He won't have a problem with it. Like it seemed like CJ had a problem with it in that quote when he came back. He said basically he wasn't a rotational player. So yeah,
And be cheaper, right?
yep, and be cheaper. So you allocate your money, and that'd be a better way to allocate their money for sure.
I love the way he fits the run game. He comes like the thunder. And he kind of reminds me of that CJ role. You talk about when CJ played in KC. I mean, he came down a lot and he filled holes. He was great in run support. And so I believe the player before that was Deshaun Elliott. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing about Deshaun Elliott is that he can fit the run game really, really, really well. All right. So this next prospect that we are going to be talking about is probably a prospect that you've heard about in the draft process. He's gained a lot of buzz too. He's gained momentum, and I think he's one hell of a receiver. I've went on to sit there and say, and very controversial, that I think he's a little bit better than his teammate. And so our next wide receiver that we want to sit there and bring to the table is Brian Thomas Jr.
This kid is big, fast, everything you'd want out of an X receiver.
So we're going to watch Brian Thomas kind of line up here, and hopefully they show some plays.
Well, this is just him walking back and forth. There we go. Hey, he cooked your boy Green right there, though.
I do. I like me some Bernardo Green. Yeah, one of the things that we talked about with Xavier Legette is that we really liked his body control, and I think the same goes for Brian Thomas. Can really go up and high point the ball, but really has good, really good body control. I think he's an athlete for sure. You see it in the highlights. I think he can run multiple routes. He's not just a down the field kind of guy. Can make contested catches as well. But I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think the world of Brian Thomas.
So do I. I think he doesn't have the amount of targets as Neighbors, so he doesn't get as much shine as what Neighbors does. But now his measurables are coming out. He's starting to see the actual prospect, like the actual player. You know what I'm saying? Not just in their offense. You're starting to see who this player is, and I think that's why he's starting to get more shine because you can see it. Look at this. He's tough. He doesn't go down.
I just saw like shades of AJ Brown.
He's what, 6'2"?
With speed, though, that's what I'm seeing coming away with this. This dude is fast. I like this.
Yeah, and so he can separate, right? And he's good. His releases are good at the line of scrimmage. Shoot, a couple clips ago, I just saw him in the slot sit there and kind of do a dip and rip, and he just kind of got a build on the stand. So I mean,
right here.
Look at that.
Look at his feet. He's got very quick feet. Look at his feet. They show it.
So the reason why we're looking at Brian Thomas is because, every year guys fall. And I'm not – who's to sit there and say that he is or won't fall? I don't know. But what I will sit there and say, though, is that there is a need, and he's probably the primary – shout out to Sick Edits, the primary receiver for that row will probably be Brian Thomas. Above Keon Coleman, above Xavier Legette. We're talking this is a first-round talent, and I think that if you're 100% sold on this kid, you run to the podium to sit there and draft him, and don't even think twice about it. Sky likes to talk about Ferrari. Help me out here. Ferrariing the offense, and I think that this kid does that.
100%. He's a perfect shark replacement.
Yeah.
Open it up over the middle.
I think he's a DJ Shark times 10. Like, I think he's that good.
Would you trade up for him?
How
He's
far
sitting
we
there
go?
at like 22, 21.
Let's see here. So 5. Let's see here. Trade. So we are talking 22-ish, 23, 24, right? Like, do you think he gets past Dallas? I don't think he gets past Dallas at 24.
Yeah, who's in front of Dallas? What 2 teams are, or 2 or 3 teams are in front of him?
Okay, so Dallas is at 24. You got the Texans at 23. Okay. Remember, you got CJ down there, and so, I mean, why not throw him another weapon?
Him and Nico?
Yeah. Then at 22, you got the Eagles. They're probably going to go O-line or somebody big.
I think the Texans would.
Say that again?
I think the Texans would actually be a good trade partner. I mean, they got Nico, and they had a kid they drafted last year, too. He was still having a pretty good rookie season before he got injured.
Are you talking about Mechie?
No, but they still have Mechie, too, but they had a rookie receiver last year. I think Tank Dell was his name or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
he was having a damn good rookie year last year before he got injured and had to miss the rest of the season. So they kind of do got like a duo, possibly trio going on in Houston. So that would be probably a good trade partner to think about if they went that route, of course.
Wow. So I don't think 23. You think a swap at 23, 29, what else would you probably give up? Maybe
the 5th?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to give up much. That's why I like it. I would like that spot, actually, because you wouldn't be coming up that much, so you wouldn't have to give up that much.
Let me play devil's advocate here. You're talking about a third receiver that would sit there and just, I mean, you're talking Amon-Ra, who you're probably going to extend, J-Mo, who's a budding star, that needs to sit there and prove his potential. And now you add Brian Thomas Jr. at 23 or whatever it is, right?
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it one bit.
What do you think the pushback is?
I think the pushback will be like, well, they can't all get the ball, but it's not really about that. It's about that's a pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty bad problem for defenses because you still got to worry about Laporta too, and then still got to worry about Gibbs coming out the backfield getting catches as well. That's very, very tough. It puts a lot of stress on NFL defenses. That's what I'm worried about.
I think the stat that I was really kind of thrown back by when I saw it was that Jared Goff was number 2 in passing yards. And so I ideally, when you look at the Lions, primarily from like outside people, they'll label the Lions really as a running team. When I saw that, I was like, wow, like they truly are balanced, and they are not scared to sit there and throw that rock like all over the field either.
No.
And so I'm like, okay, you really have a fourth option, and if you add him, right, because you have the 3 receivers and you have Laporta, you know, obviously you could have the 2 running backs or whatever come out of the backfield. What I'm saying is, as far as like targets, I'm like, this is the reason what made Josh Reynolds so good was because he was the 4th receiver, right? Or we'll say 4th option. But now you put that on Brian Thomas, and it's like, wow, like literally 4 guys can get targeted, 4 guys can take it to the house.
It's pretty hard to stop.
And the speed with him, J-Mo, and then Gibbs, like that speed, bro, that's ridiculous right there.
You just saw him in the clips, and he was putting moves on dude. I mean, in the middle of the field, right? Like he was catching out of the slot. Like he's got good cut ability. You saw him work in space, right? And sit in zones. So it's not like he's just big and just running go routes or 9 routes. And it's like when you watch him, it's, man, I think he Ferraris the offense to a T. I think he takes – I don't think Ben Johnson would leave for the next 10 years.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Man, he's a big receiver. Like he gives him another red zone threat. Gives him a, like you said, DJ Chark replacement earlier today. Like we didn't have that in this offense last year. Like we didn't have a receiver. Hey, just throw the ball down the field, give him a shot, 50-50 shot at catching the ball. We didn't have that.
No. You know, people will argue, well, that's what J-Mo's for, stretching the field. No, J-Mo's a guy to catch it in stride. You know what I mean? He's not a 50-50 ball guy.
Brian Thomas is, though.
Exactly. We don't have one of those guys.
The only guy that we have that can do a 50-50 ball, and he's obviously not going to be as fast as a wide receiver as Laporta.
And we don't really like throw that to him.
Not to him at all. So, but Brian Thomas, you were able to sit there and do that. And I think that he would put, as far as the passing game, would you agree that he would complete it?
I do.
Yes, because I mean that was the element I was saying all year that we were missing. Is just that element. I think he would definitely complete that. We would have no holes on offense as far as receiving wise.
Would he? Let me ask you guys, because if you got J-Mo, that's a burner, and him too. Do you guys know what? Do you remember what he ran at the combine?
Who, Thomas?
I want to say he was let me see.
Yeah, I got it.
I think he was 4.332, but I'm just gonna make sure.
Yeah, he ran a 4.33 40.
Ooh.
Yep, and a 1.5 split, man. That's shit. I'm taking that all day.
My God. So
4.33 speed. Take my damn car, bro.
Sign me up.
Man, he could possibly be fighting JMO for the number 2 spot, right?
And we also got to remember you can't pay everybody, bro. This just starts to window again at receiver. We already know they're paying St. Brown, but now this gets to the point where good teams, they have players in place all the time for players they potentially gonna come up on contracts that they can't get on the contract and they're gonna have to move on from.
Listen, we're not sitting there telling you guys that they're gonna gun for Brian Thomas Jr. What we're telling you and getting you guys to see that some of these guys have got to fall, and we don't know what's going to happen, but there can be a possibility where this does happen. And so it's not a primary need per se, but I think the value of him and what he does for you as an offense, if he's there and he falls, even to 24, or I think Houston was at 23, even at 23, you might go up and get him. To give up, what, a 5th round, we said?
A 5th this year and maybe a 3rd next year. You have to give him something for next year's draft. That's how most trades work. You give him a future pick as well. So maybe a 4th next year.
A 4th because we're going to get a comp, right? Because
don't we have one coming from the Swift trade? Was his a 6th?
Yes. So you could get rid of the 4th, and you'll still have another 4th because of the comp.
Okay.
Pick. So right away, it could happen here. I think it's very realistic. I don't think we're sitting there kind of talking, nonsense either. So I like the prospect. I think that he's gonna do well in the NFL, 100%.
I'm with you. You're spot on. It's not an absolute, like we have to make that move, but it's something that the value is too good to not at least, talk about it and look at it at least, just to get it out there.
Yeah, feel you. All right, Mike, any last comments on Brian Thomas Jr. before we wrap up here?
No, not really. But I'll just say this: he's the one receiver, like we talked about, Keon Coleman in the previous episode. If it was him, like towards the bottom of the round, I would have questions. I wouldn't be mad at it, but I would have more questions depending on who's on the board. But this kid here, I think, is another story. If he's at 29, you run to the podium, and if he gets close to 29, and they have him as the best player on their board in the front of the other players that's in that group at that point in the draft, I would not be mad if they traded up a little bit to snag him.
100%.
Oh.
Day, these are all the prospects that we have for today. You want to kind of let the fans know, kind of wrap it up here and just kind of let them know where we find everybody and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, thanks guys for tuning in for another episode of our prospects that we want to take a look at for the week. Let us know what you think of each guy. I think, would you make the move for Thomas? If he's there at 23, 24, would you try to make some kind of trade up for him, or is it not your kind of move? So let us know, and then next time you see us, we'll be talking some more prospects. I think we're going to switch to some more O linemen and D linemen next time I think we're around. So, if you like what you see, give us a like, give us a follow. It's your boy Day. We'll let the guys carry us out. Leo, go ahead.
Hey, you can catch me on X at Leo Marwella, first name, last name. We'll be doing this up until the draft. We are leading you guys. We're going to do as many prospects as possible. And as the draft gets a little bit closer, we are actually all meeting up. And hopefully we can sit there and do a live show when it gets closer to the draft, or maybe on draft night or second day of the draft or something like that. So follow us. We want to hear from you too. If you don't like, or if you don't agree with some of the things that we say about these prospects, chime in. If you do agree, chime in. Also, too, if you have a prospect that you are going to bang your hand on the table for, like you're gonna like this is your guy, let us know too, so that we can sit there and take a look and see what we see with our own eyes. And we're not reading draft profiles. It's a thing that we won't do right now. Because we just want to see what we see with our own two eyes. But if you have a guy that you're going to bang the table for, let us know as well. Mike.
Yep, what you guys said, man. We're all for that inclusion, man. Whatever prospects you like, whatever ones you don't like, whether it be prospects we talk about on the show episode or not, like just bring them in. Like you have to put them in the comments or whatever, and we can tackle those as well, just like Day and Leo said. And yeah, just give us a follow, like. We're very interactive, and then you can always at us on Twitter too. We're on Twitter pretty active every day. So yeah, that's about it for me.
The only prospect we won't review is JJ McCarthy. We're not doing that.
All right, y'all. Peace.